and welcome to another segment of Motivational Mondays with Donna. I pray that everyone is doing well, and if you're running into any challenges, just to remember to let go and let God. God is ordering your steps and will make everything turn out for your good. This week, I'd like to speak on the topic of Jesus is carrying you. Now, I know sometimes when there's a lot of challenges and a lot of stress, things are not going the way you want them to, that you feel like you're alone. But you're never alone. Jesus is always with you. God is always with you. The Holy Spirit, remember, is living inside of you. So you just need to remember that you're not carrying the weight of the world on your shoulders or all by yourself. Now, one of the greatest people in the Bible that we could be able to see that reflection from was Job. Now, most everybody knows the story of Job and, how he was very affluent and was doing very, very well in life. And then out of nowhere, he had a string of bad things that happened to him. He lost his business, he lost his family, he lost his home, he lost his health. And everything just piled on top of him at one time. And at one point we do read in the story of Job that he just sat down in the ashes and was very, very despondent. But God was with him. Jesus was carrying him that entire time, even though it may not have felt like it. But eventually he rose up and realized that God is his Redeemer and Jesus is still with him. And he even had some friends that came by, and one of them did tell him, everything is going to be okay. God is with you. Jesus is carrying you. So no matter how dark the times may seem, just remember that God is there with you at all times. He's Alpha and Omega. He sees every single thing. And Jesus is there to walk along with you. And whenever the walking gets too much and you feel like you're just going to drop to your knees and, your body cannot hold the weight anymore, that actually Jesus is carrying you. Now, one of the greatest depictions of this was a poem that was written that is titled Footprints in the Sand. And I'd like to actually read that so that for those of you that have never heard it, you'll actually see how beautiful it is. One night, a man had a dream. He dreamed he was walking along the beach with the Lord. Across the sky flashed scenes from his life. For each scene, he noticed two sets of footprints in the sand. One belonged to him and the other belonged to the Lord. When the last scene of his life flashed before him, he looked back at the footprints in the sand. He noticed that many times along the path of his life, there was only one set of footprints. He also noticed that this happened at the very lowest and saddest times in his life. This really bothered him, and he questioned the Lord about it. Lord, you said that once I decided to follow you, you'd walk with me all the way. But I have noticed that during the most troublesome times in my life, there was only one set of footprints. I don't understand why when I needed you the most, you would leave me. The Lord replied, my precious, precious child, I love you and I would never leave you. During your times of trial and suffering, when you see only one set of footprints, it was then that I carried you. Beautiful. Now, we always end our segments on gratitude, and there was an American writer known for his novels and his short stories by the name of William Faulkner. And William had this to say on gratitude. Gratitude is a quality similar to electricity. It must be produced and discharged and used up in order to exist at all. Think about that. It's very, very powerful. So, guys, remember that when you're dealing with these trials and tribulations and struggles and you feel like you're doing it all alone, remember that God is with you and Jesus is carrying you. And remember gratitude always above everything else, because gratitude will lift you to the highest heights at all times. Have a great week. Talk to you next week.